This is sort of fascinating. In the wake of that Israeli attack on the school, where you've seen horrific images, just people blown to smithereens, children blown to smithereens. Sky News, Jane Secker, I don't know if we've ever seen anything. She's speaking with an Israeli spokesperson, David Menser. We have 2 clips. You know, I'd like to see more of this on like American news media. Go ahead.
But what about the other 81 is my point.
There aren't any 81. That's the truth of the matter. There aren't any
That is not
other.
what charities are saying there.
Right. So unfortunately, lots of people like UNRWA, which is also a charity, they actually participated in the
But this is Save the Children. This isn't UNRWA.
So I don't know about Save the Children. But what I know is this is a PR battle. I've given you our intelligence. We know that 19 were killed. We're looking into if there were any other collateral damage, which of course we'll apologize for if that is the case. But what I'm telling you is we can say categorically when we fired these precise munitions, calibrated perfectly to get precisely to the terrorists, to make sure there aren't any civilian casualties, there weren't any other civilians in the area. So any other ideas which might come afterwards, it's incumbent on world media to be critical, to look at these issues with a critical eye, because Hamas have a history of lying. I mean, none of us here in Israel are surprised. They raped our families. They burnt whole families alive. It's no big surprise that they happen to be liars as well. But I understand for Western media.
All right, first off, she's not citing Hamas. Let's just let's take this the low-hanging fruit here. She's citing Save the Children. The guy admits this is a public relations war. Then he goes on to say Hamas lies, Israel lies. They lied about the Hannibal Directive. I'm just going by what the Israeli press says. They lied about using Palestinians as human shields. This is just what we talked about today. This is just what we talked about today. That was reported in the Israeli press. They apparently Hamas does not have the market cornered on rape. We've seen video of Israeli soldiers.
It's debated as policy.
Taking prisoners, holding up their shield so you can't see it. Raping prisoners. They debated on their talk shows as to whether or not it's appropriate. We saw riots. Israeli civilians crashing through the gates of bases where they didn't even want the scapegoats to be to face accountability. Never mind. You don't have 15 Israeli soldiers holding up their shields in front of the video cameras to obscure what's going on and say, well, it's just a few bad apples. But the guy, at least to his credit, admits this is a PR war. And to the credit of this news presenter, Jane Secker, she basically says, well, you don't believe the Save the Children charity. You smear UNRWA, let the media in, and of course they won't do that.
Almost nothing, no information leaves Gaza without it being cleared by...
It would help if international journalists were allowed in there by Israel, then we would be able to give independent verification, but you don't allow us in, so we can't. Can I just put one final point to you? Whatever happened on Saturday...
That's what you call a drive-by. Allow me to respond to that.
Let me just say also what where that term drive-by comes from. Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh. This guy, that was a term coined by Rush Limbaugh. Go back and let's do this again. I just wanted to, just thought that might be of interest.
verification, but you don't allow us in, so we can't. Can I just put one final point to you?
That's
Whatever happened on Saturday.
That's what you call a drive-by. Allow me to respond to that when you make that accusation. This has been one of the most reported conflicts ever.
But not freely by the international media. The international media, Sky News, are only allowed in, accompanied by Israel on very, very limited trips.
It is a very dangerous war zone for the safety of these journalists.
Pause it. Israel has killed over 160 journalists. The idea that this guy is like saying, we're doing this for your safety. Give me an effing break. They target journalists.
Yep.
Target journalists' families. Good.
Is a very dangerous war zone for the safety of these journalists, but we're keeping them out. But we will let them in.
That's a decision that you've just acknowledged. You are keeping them out.
No, the decision I'm taking, I'm telling you about, is that we're focusing on bringing our hostages home. That's what our emphasis is, because the story's getting out. I mean, you see them on your screens every single moment of every single day. So the story is getting out. So this idea that it isn't getting out is ridiculous. It's on our front screens all the time.
But it's hard because if I say a fact and then you say it's Hamas, we can't independently verify it because you won't let us in. So it becomes a circular argument, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Well done by her.
Stephen Semler at the top of the month, at beginning of August, from the Committee to Protect Journalist Data. Journalists since October 7th have been killed. 108 journalists have been killed by Israeli forces since October 7th. Journalists killed by anyone else is 17. That is 9 in 10 journalists killed since October 7th were killed by Israel.
Only 108?
That's per the Committee to Protect Journalists data on 2nd of August, 2024. So that includes media workers, but it might be greater now. It probably is.
And then, she nails him on the decision to keep journalists out. We're focused on the hostages. You should tell the Israeli press that, because the Israeli press doesn't believe that. New documents have shown that every time they get close to a ceasefire deal to release the hostages, Netanyahu steps in and changes the deal.
Total victory time.
They don't want a deal, and they also don't want to find out why X number of hostages have died in Gaza. They've died because of Israeli weapons blowing them up, or in some cases, actually, Israelis shooting them. All right, let's go to the phones. Folks, you can be a part of this program by calling in on the phone system that we have, 646-257-3920. The phones are now open. The answer is, our phone line's open. Yes, Ms. Zarv, they are right now. If Mamla got us to refund UNRWA, I would not only tell everyone I know to vote her, but I'll give her my firstborn, like Spike Biden's applesauce, and force some signatures on executive orders. Galaxy. Yeah, I mean, the problem is, she can't do that. She can't do anything other than campaign on a specific policy, I guess. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.